Hello students, welcome to AriserTalent. As you know, we are studying an important chapter of NCERT, that is our environment. In this chapter, I told you, in my previous lecture, I told you about the environment, about the ecosystem, types of ecosystem, and I told you about the different components of the environment. Now, today we are going to talk about food web. So here, our today's topic of discussion is food web. Okay, now what is this food web? Here you can see in the picture what is a food web. Here you can see the different network, you can see the network of different food chains here which are existing in the ecosystem. Okay, so this is known as food web, means food web is the network of different food chains which are existing in the ecosystem. Okay, so here we can mention what is the food web. The food web is the network of different, or we can say the network of a large number of a large number of food chains. Okay, food chains existing that are existing in the environment. Okay, so here we can understand from the diagram itself, like look here, as we know that the food chain always start from a producer and producer is always a green plant. Okay, so here we can see if we go through this food chain, that you can see here that a corn is there which is eaten by the grasshopper. Okay, then this grasshopper is eaten by the frog and this frog is eaten by that python. So this is the one food chain. Okay, then another food chain is that the corn is eaten by grasshopper, then this grasshopper is eaten by rat and this rat is eaten either by the wolf or either by that eagle. Okay, so here so many food chains are given and they all are forming a network of food chains. Okay, so this is all known as the food web. Clear? Means the network of different food chains is known as the food web. Clear? Next is again the food web. We can see that the tree is eaten by the herbivore, that is giraffe or rhino. Okay, then again it can be eaten by the secondary consumer. This is the first, means primary consumer, and then it can be eaten by the second consumer, that is lion. Okay, so thus we can say this is the one food chain. Okay, same here, that grass is eaten by the mouse, then this mouse can be eaten as caracal, then it can be eaten by the snake, and then again this grass can be eaten by impala and this impala can be eaten by that leopard. So here we can see that the different food chains are interconnected with each other. Clear? Here we can see that one animal can be eaten by two different animals. Okay, so thus we can say that there is a network of different food chains which are existing in the ecosystem. Clear? And these all food chains are interconnected. Clear? So here what is the food web? Food web means the network of a large number of food chains that are existing in the environment. Clear? And in this all the food chains are interconnected with each other. You can mention the point here. Food chains all, or we can mention the different food chains. The different food chains are interconnected with each other. Okay, so this is all about the food web. Clear? Now next we will talk about the difference between food chain and food web. In my previous lecture I told you about the food chain. What is a food chain? In that I told you that in the food chain there is a sequence of energy flow. Means when the producer form the food, then it is eaten by the primary consumer, then primary consumer is eaten by the secondary consumer, and then secondary consumer is eaten by the tertiary consumer. So there is a sequence of flow of energy in the form of food. That is the food chain. But what happens in the food web? In the food web is the network of the large number of food chains. Okay, so this is the difference between food chain and food web. So here we will discuss the difference between food chain and food web. Food chain and food web. Okay, so what are the differences? Food chain is a sequence of organism which flow the energy, or they transfer the energy from one organism to another. Okay, so here we can mention what is the food chain. Food chain. Okay students, so here in this lecture we studied about what? We studied about the food chain. Means food chain is a network of different food chains. Okay, then we studied the difference between food chain and food web, and then we studied the 10% law. This is very important law. Generally a question comes in the exam on this topic, that what is the 10% law of energy? That's also known as the second law of thermodynamics. Okay, in this law only the 10% of energy moves or transfer from one trophic level to the another trophic level, and rest of the 90% energy get lost in the form of heat. Okay, then we studied about the flow of energy in the ecosystem, that how the energy we get the energy from the sun, then that energy is used by the producers, means plants, and then energy flow from the plants to herbivores, herbivores to carnivores, carnivores to omnivores. Okay, means thus we can say carnivores to different carnivores as well, and from carnivores to omnivores as well. Okay, and then when they get die, then decomposers release the minerals in the soils, and those raw materials are again utilized by the producers. Okay, so this is all about the flow energy in the ecosystem. Hope all those topics are clear to you. Thank you.